Hey guys, it's Catherine from 85th and Pine, and in today's video I'm going to go over how to add text on Inkscape in order to engrave it on your Glowforge. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so I'm just going to start with this file that I created myself. It's a Santa's sleigh snow globe ornament, and I have this available on my Etsy shop if you're interested in purchasing the file and creating it yourself. But even if you purchase files from somebody else, this video will also be helpful for you in order to add text to the file and in order to import it to your Glowforge and then print it and engrave that text. So I'm just going to go ahead and get started with this and show you another example after this one as well. So I'm going to go first. If you didn't upload your design, you would just have to go to File and Import, or Control I for the keyboard shortcut. And then you would just upload wherever you saved the file on your computer and it will come up on Inkscape here. So I'm going to go over to the left hand side over here, Create and Edit Text Objects. And once I click on that, I'm just going to go anywhere on my screen and click and then go ahead and type in whatever text I want. Okay, so I'm just going to add in Baby's First Christmas, and I want to change the font, so I'm going to go up to Text up top here on the toolbar, Text and Font. And then I'm just going to pick out of the font choices I have here. And if you want, you can always download fonts on, I think I use 1001fonts.com or something like that. Just make sure if you're going to sell your products that you have the rights to the font that you pick. A lot of fonts are free for commercial use, so just keep that in mind when you're selecting a font. So anyway, I'm just gonna I'll just choose this font right here and click Apply. And I'm just gonna X out of here to make it easier to see. Now I have it in this font that I want, so I'm gonna have to go up to the top again over here to Path and Object to Path, otherwise it will not engrave properly. And then I'm going to go to my selection tool right here on the left hand side just so I can select it. Alright, so now I'm going to resize it so that it will fit in the base of the ornament right here. So I'm going to go up top here and I'm going to lock in my measurements so that it doesn't distort my image. And I'm just going to drag it to the size that I want it to be. You can also resize it up here and select inches or millimeters, whatever you want to choose. But to make it easy, I'm just going to drag it down here and see how it looks. I'm going to make it a little bit smaller. Okay, so that's about the size that I think I would want it at. So I'm just going to leave it right there. And then I'm going to I'll zoom in for you so you can see it better. Now I want to, if it's a cursive font, I want to make sure that it's all one unified piece. Otherwise, when it engraves, you'll see little pauses in between each part where it's supposed to be connected where it's cursive. So I'm going to select my text and go to Object, Ungroup. So now you can see each and every letter is ungrouped, and that's what I want it to do. So I'm going to keep that selected and go up to Path and Union. So now it's all one unified piece and it will engrave properly. And then for me personally, I just use pink as my engraved color code. You can use whatever color you want. This is just the color I use, so I'm just going to make it pink. Now I want to center it with my ornament. So I'm going to keep it selected and hold down the Shift button and select my ornament wherever I want to select it. And then I could release the Shift button and then go to Object, Align and Distribute. Now you can center it through these tools over here. I just use Center on Vertical Axis. and that's the only one I'm going to use. So now it's centered on the vertical axis. And then if you want, you can add other text. I'm just going to put in 2021. So I'm going to go back to create and edit text, hit 2021, go back up to text to change the font. X out of that. And I'm just going to use, let's see, we'll just pick this one to make it easy. Okay, so I'm going to X out of this. And again, I'm going to have to go up to Path and Object to Path. And I'm going to select it with my selection tool just so I have it selected, and now I can drag it. And I'm going to resize this a little bit more as well, just because I don't want it that big. And then I'm going to put it down here where I want it, but I'm going to go back up to, I'm going to select it and then select the ornament again. And then go back to Object, Align and Distribute, and go back to that center on vertical axis so it's centered. Okay. And now I'm going to select it again just to make it my pink color down here. And since this isn't cursive, there's no, they're not running into each other like cursive letters would be. So you don't have to ungroup it and unify it because it will print as is like this. So now I'm just going to group everything together just so I could drag it around if I want to. What I usually do is just hold down my cursor and select everything at once while still holding it down. So that selects my ornament and my text. And then I use keyboard shortcuts and do Control G for group, but you can go back up to Object and do it that way and then click Group as well. So now it's all grouped together. And it's ready to print on your Glowforge, and you'll be able to engrave this part. And on this specific file, I have this engraved as well on clear acrylic. And if you buy this specific file, you can always remove it or change it if you would like to modify it by selecting this and ungrouping it. So go to, which I already did on my keyboard shortcut, I did Shift, Control, G all at the same time, but you can go to Object and Ungroup. So now everything is individualized and ungrouped, so you can select the stars and the moon and delete them if you want to, or move this around or delete that. It's really up to you. So that's just one example for that. I'm going to go over to another file over here that I have. It's just a tic-tac-toe that I printed on 1/4 inch Baltic birch plywood, and it comes out really nicely. It's just a small tabletop tic-tac-toe piece that you can have at parties or whatever you want to do with it. So I'm just going to add some text on this as well. So I'm going to go back to my Create Text and Edit Text Objects and just put Happy Halloween and go back up to text up here, text and font, so I can change the font. And I think I have a Halloween font that I use. Yeah, we'll use this. So I use Chiller for this just because it looks Halloween themed. Again, you'll have to make sure you have the rights to the font if you sell these. And then I'm going to go ahead and go up to Path, Object to Path, go back to my selection tool so I can select it. And I'm going to resize it, but up here I have to go ahead and select my locked symbol so it won't distort it, because if it's unlocked, I'll just show you really quick, if it's unlocked and you try to drag it, it'll just get distorted like that. So that's why I lock it. So we're going to go ahead and just resize it. I'll put it right up here. That looks good enough to me right now. And I'm going to go ahead and change it to pink since that is my Engrave color code. And it's ready to go. Again, for this, it's not cursive, so you don't have to ungroup it and unify it since they're individual letters. They're not running over each other, so you don't have to ungroup and unify this. If you want to, you can, but you don't have to. And then now that is ready to print, I'm going to go ahead and select the whole image as well, the cat and everything. just to group it. So I'm going to do Control G, or again, you can go to Object and Group. It gets a lot quicker if you use the keyboard shortcuts that they have on the right-hand side over here. It just makes everything quicker, but you don't have to do that at the beginning. So now it's all ready to go, and you can just file and save as, and you can do plain SVG, Inkscape SVG, however you want to do it, whatever Glowforge is compatible with, which they use SVGs a lot, so you can save it that way. I already have mine saved, so I'm going to leave it as that. So that's just a quick and easy way to add text to any file, any digital file that you have. So if you have any questions, let me know. Alright, so like I said, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me, and if you're interested in buying your own Glowforge machine, please feel free to use my referral code that's listed in the description box below on where you can get money off. Plus I would get credits too, which mean my family truly appreciate. And thanks for watching again, and we'll see you next time.